What's going on? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be breaking down the Minnesota Vikings for the 2024 deep dive. This is going to be a three-part series, all going to be in one video. Don't you worry. It's going to be a draft class breakdown, depth chart breakdown, as well as a records prediction. If you are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how to use YouTube. Let's get on with it. Let's have a good time. Let's not waste any time. Starting out with that draft class. So, draft class, start out with the first overall pick. Just kidding. That was the Bears. RIP. But you ended up getting the same type of player as the Bears, except just 9 spots later with J.J. McCarthy rather than Caleb Williams, which is okay, because I thought J.J. McCarthy would flourish the most in your system. The problem is, for 2024, there's a chance that Sam Darnold's the starter. We'll see about that. But J.J. McCarthy, really talented quarterback, keeps his offense in rhythm. Jesus. Well, English is hard today. But J.J. McCarthy is awesome. You know, I didn't have him that highly graded, but I love his mobility. And again, in this system, I do believe that was a very solid pick. Dallas Turner was a number 4 player on my board. And I mean, the more I think about it, the more I thought I underrated him. He is fantastic. You guys got probably the steal of the first round right there. Rest in peace to Kyrie Jackson. Obviously, I don't need to be the one to break the news to you. If I am, then I'm going to allow you to do your own research. But tragic accident, drunk driving accident. Pretty sure a drunk driver hit him and a couple of his former buddies, and the rest is history. It sucks. Like it absolutely sucks. But at the end of the day, shit happens. I mean, I really like my biggest condolences to his family and his friends, and anybody who feels personally affected by it. My comment section is a safe space. There are douchebags in there, but at the same time, there's douchebags everywhere. And I love y'all. But, it really does suck. Kyrie Jackson, rest in peace. We're going to leave it right there. Walter Rouse, I thought that he was a little bit more immobile. I like the fact that you can move him around the offensive line. Will Reichard, I'm not the biggest guy on drafting kickers. So that's probably why I put it right there. Michael Jurgens, never going to shame a team for investing in offensive line. And Levi Drake Rodriguez, again, just kind of, I felt like at the time, after the first 3 picks, I was very, very, very excited. A little bit let down after those, but, those first 3 picks were awesome. Again, rest in peace to Kyrie, but those first 2 picks are, in my opinion, franchise changing. You might have gotten your offensive and defensive MVPs with those first 2 picks. So let's talk about the offense here. We're going to go skill position to offensive line, then defensive line to skill position. Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy. I think Sam Darnold will start for at least half of the season, and then J.J. might be able to come in, but there's a good chance that J.J. doesn't see the field. So fingers crossed he does, because I have more faith in him than Sam Darnold, especially when Sam's on a 1-year deal and J.J.'s not. But you got Aaron Jones, pretty much freak coincidence there, or I guess freak situation, where Aaron Jones was pretty much the odd man out there in Green Bay when they brought in Josh Jacobs, and you guys flourished by bringing him in. You have Ty Chandler there as well, who I was a very big fan of, and he's shown a ton of talent there. So big fan of that duo. You got CJ Ham, who's been really, really reliable as your fullback. Looking at the receiving core, you got TJ Hawkinson, who is very reliable when healthy, and then Brandon Powell, who is able to push out KJ Osborne, and then you got, of course, the supremely talented Justin Jefferson, as well as Jordan Addison, who I was a big fan of as well. Looking at the offensive line, Christian Darrisaw, loved him to death too. I mean, there's a lot of these players that I'm very, very, very happy to read their names out, because I think it is great. You got Dalton Reisner right there as well. That's freaking awesome, the fact that you're able to bring him back. And Garrett Bradbury, people have been trying to replace him for a while, but I don't think he's a scrub. And then Ed Ingram, I loved him at LSU. I mean, he's fun. And then Brian O'Neill needs no introduction. You have a really, really good squad. It's just pretty much hampered by that lack of talent at the quarterback position as of right now. But, B+, I think that's pretty standard. It might even be a B if you want to be more pessimistic about Sam Darnold. But I think Aaron Jones kind of mitigates that risk a little bit. Then we go to the defense here. You got Jerry Tillery, Harrison Phillips, Jonathan Bullard. Not a great defensive interior, in my opinion. Just not great. I think that this team really needed to do a better job of addressing defensive interior, and they kind of slouched a little bit. Just going to call it out as it is. They slouched a little bit. And there were some really good talents that were available at different points of the draft. But again, they ended up hitting on those first 2 picks. That's what matters the most. Technically, Dallas Turner is not even projected to start according to Our Lads, which is where I get all this information from. I use them as the baseline. So, it is what it is. But Dallas Turner, I do think will be the MVP by the end of the year for your defense. So have to toss him in there with ABG as well as Grenard. So good trio of edge rushers right there. Not to mention Andre Carter II, who's I think that 6'7" Army edge that was formerly thought to be a first-round pick. He's not developed that way, but still, there's room for hope. Then we can look at those linebackers. Blake Cashman, new signing, coming off, I believe, an injury, but a really good year. And then Ivan Pace, my draft darling from a little bit over a year ago. He's my number 53 player on my board. Ended up going, I think, UDFA. So pretty damn awesome. Love seeing that. At least I can somewhat spot some talent here and there. At least I like to have a little bit of a legitimacy to when I actually say something. But look at the safety core. Harrison Smith restructured, was able to get on a more team-friendly deal because it was really, really pricey. But he's going to end his career off there in Minnesota. I love that for him. Cam Bynum, I don't have my complaints about him either. He's in a contract year, so he's going to be even better in terms of having extra kick in the ass. You got Josh Metellus in the nickel. He's been under the radar. Byron Murphy's been really solid when healthy. I know that in Arizona he had a lot of health problems. Shaq Griffin, another guy who's been floating around rosters, but somebody who I don't mind. Again, I'm not seeing any top-end talent here apart from Dallas Turner, but behind those corners, I do want to mention Dwight McGlothern. That was one of my favorite players. Kind of felt a little bit Eli Rixey to me when I was watching him in terms of like the way I loved him for the reasons I loved him in terms of the value that was perceived. Could be a really, really good steal right there, especially in light of the tragic incident that just happened. Maybe Dwight might be at least something that's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, a little bit of silver lining. But that's going to be it for this. Looking at it, you got B- as that grade. I think that's perfectly fair. If the defense interior can hold up, it'll be certainly a B, but we're talking about Moneyball here. There's not top-end talent apart from Dallas Turner, in my opinion, but there certainly isn't crap, and that's a good sign. But let's see how this ends up playing out when it comes to the records prediction. And we're jumping right in. As you can tell, this is cumulative, so we are starting out 0-3. A little bit of a kick in the nuts to start, but if you guys want to see my reasoning why, feel free to go check out those videos. I will still be rediscussing it here, and if something is egregious, we, of course, are going to change it. But let's get right into this. Week number 1, we face the New York Giants at home. With a new quarterback in the system, I do think New York does have a little bit of the upper hand. Can't just run the ball 24/7. Maybe you can, but I'm still going to be giving the nod to a pretty damn talented team that's just a little bit hampered by their quarterback situation, but they'll be a little bit more ready day one, in my opinion. Week number 2, you're facing the Niners at home. Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough way to start the season, but I got to have the Niners lose some games. I actually think I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. They're always early in the season, there's some crazy upsets, and then teams just get their head and ass wired together. This might be one of them, where Sam Darnold, who's formerly on the Niners, will just end up being like, boom, and end up getting that upset. Is it logical? No, but the NFL finds a way always to make me think that logic doesn't ever matter to the NFL. So this is going to be one of my RNG games. I do think that we will be using the opposite idea for the Texans here by giving them the win. Theoretically, it's more probable for the Niners to win and then the Texans not to. I should probably do that. But I gotta have the Niners lose some games. This is just going to be one of those fluke games for them. But in week number 4, you're going to Lambeau. It's going to be tough to win. That's a really solid roster, top 10 in the NFL. I'll be giving it to them. Of course, then you face Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers comes to your house. You'll see some certain turmoil there because of the potential of his injury, but you can't. I got to eventually give the Jets some wins here. And, they're a team that I have been more lenient on giving some leeway and being able to give some teams some easy wins over them. But You do end up facing the Lions at home after a bye. I think that if it wasn't after a bye, I might have the Lions sweep you. But you have the perfect situation to upset. So good for you. Again, it's weird for me to say upset because you're so used to having Kirk and being like the force in the NFC North. But it's just you'll be that next year. This year, it's just so much growing and developing. Sean McVay on Thursday night, I don't think anybody's going to complain about this, but we're going to be giving them that W. And then you end up facing the Indianapolis Colts. Coming off a mini bye because you had that Thursday night game. And so mini bye means that it's like you're not Sunday to Sunday. It's like Thursday to Sunday. You get some extra days of rest. I do think this is a very close game, and I will be giving it to you. I like Indy a lot, but you do have a lot of things going for you. You might even be starting JJ McCarthy at this point. And the corner core for the Colts, as much as I love my boy Jalen Jones to death, and he's projected to be the starter. But Juju Brents, I do not trust versus Justin Jefferson. And I think that JJ might be able to come in and be a savior. Then we end up facing the Jaguars in week 10 at home, or technically we're away. They will be at home. So we'll be in Jacksonville. That's not a fun game to play. I'm going to be giving that one to Jacksonville. They're a top 15 roster in the NFL, so got to put some respect on their name. In division with the Bears, this is going to be a good matchup. I think that I'll be having you guys split this series. So, spoiler alert, the Bears are a really, really good roster. They have the better quarterback. No disrespect. I know that one of my coworkers who's a former quarterback thinks that JJ's better. So, who knows? There are some people who think JJ was better than Caleb. I'm not one of those, but I digress. Week 13, actually week 13, I have you guys losing to the Cardinals. I think it's perfectly fine. There's an RNG factor, absolutely. And the Cardinals are a very good team. Like, it's just right now they're at a weird growth point where it's like they're not bad enough to be bad, but they're not good enough to be good. It's a weird spot of mediocrity for them where they're developing into a better team. Week 14, though, you end up facing the Atlanta Falcons, and you guys are at home. I do like the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they are a better team. This is Kirk's revenge game. I usually give it to the team where someone's coming back for revenge. So I will be doing that. I did say we're going to split with the Bears. The Bears are a fantastic squad. On paper, they should sweep you. But again, in division, logic usually goes out the window. Week 16, you face Seattle at home. Seattle's been notoriously not as good at home. But I do think that Seattle has a really solid offensive line. They're known to ground and pound. And that defensive interior certainly worries me. I will be leaning towards Seattle in this instance. I kind of want to go and give Green Bay the sweep here. If I must be honest, I think Green Bay deserves a sweep. I'll have to go over their roster again, but I'm not going to give them the sweep this time. But that's something that's TBD. It's going to be in a couple weeks, but we will see. Absolutely. If this is very much up in the air. But we ended up, of course, talking about splitting with the Lions. The Lions are far superior. You guys just ended up having a perfect storm there in week 7. So if we wanted to look at our record for this coming year, Hurricane Barrel is like screwing me over. 5-12. That's not great. You guys have a tough schedule, though. Your division has 3 playoff contenders. We'll see if we can flip a game here, because I do think that you guys deserve 6 wins minimum. I don't think you're a 5-win roster, even with Sam Darnold. I have my issues with Sam, but I'm not there yet. The Cardinals, I am quite tempted to flip that game. I am very much tempted to flip that game. To be fair, week 11, I don't think that's a bad game to flip either. There is some tension with me to flip that Cardinals game and just pretty much screw over the Cardinals fans who just watched me give them a 6-11 record. But it's a tough one. That's a tough game. I'm going to give it to you. I will. I think JJ McCarthy might be able to rhythm you guys to victory right there. So there you go. You guys got it. The 6-11. Sorry, Cardinals fans, but you guys are going to 5-12. There's going to be a lot of mediocrity. It's just there's a lot of really good teams as well. So that's going to be the video. Ended up pulling y'all a favor right there. I love y'all. See you on the far side. Peace.